Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy, DC in the building with us. And we doing this, man. We talk about the Saints draft, recapping it. Of course, we did about 3 picks, and we're going to start into our next one, which is Mr. Natrell Jamison. Of course, he was a senior coming out of the University of Wisconsin, taken in the 5th round by the Saints. Now, Natrell Jamison, very special player, DC. He was pretty good, pretty fast in the 40-yard dash, had a 4.4 there. You look at his statistics coming from Wisconsin that year, not a lot to rat and rave about. 49 tackles, a sack and a half. He had 2 interceptions in there. But the reality of the situation is Natrell Jamison can play safety. The Saints view him more as a cornerback. He has good size, 5'11", 200 pounds. And he also has special teams guys, special teams capability as well, has pretty decent ball skills, a little bit of everything. So go ahead, DC. What you think about Mr. Jamison?
I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say something, and people might not be happy about it. I like Natrell Jamison.
That's the limb?
No.
All right.
The limb is coming up.
Okay.
I'm going to travel down the tree. I like Natrell. He's a 4'4" guy, very fast.
Up the tree.
Be down the tree. I'm going to the stump, baby. Get to the roots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then come on now.
All right. You said limb. The limbs usually up.
Well, I'm going to hit the limb before I go all the way down to the roots.
Oh, okay. So you're starting from the top of the tree.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Start with the leaves, baby. The leaves. Start with the draft stock, the stuff you can see, you know?
Okay, got a little confused there. I just wanted to follow you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you know, I'm a little dyslexic.
Okay.
4.5 40 time, man. Most bench reps. I gotta say that. Throw that in there when you bring him up, because I think that's very impressive.
Oh yeah, you said that before.
Second fastest safety, which is why the Saints can see him as a cornerback. Strongest safety, man, and this guy missed 1 tackle all year. That is impressive. That's very impressive.
That is amazing.
Right.
Yeah. So
the limb. Let's get to the limb, and then we can go on down to the roots and pass this on to another seed. The limb is Von Bell. Bruh, you got to put your chin strap on and tighten it up, baby. Because this guy, I know they're saying they're looking at him as a cornerback, but I think, that 3 safety look we love to see, I think Coleman's almost a shoo-in for free safety, because he going to have better ball skills than Von Bell. I think that's what they're looking for. Veteran player, good at setting people up in position. But we ain't here to talk about Coleman. That 3rd safety spot in that package, a guy that don't miss tackles, that could play in the box with the type of freakish athleticism that Natrell has. Of course, he's coming in as a special teamer, but if he wows, I don't think it's so crazy to see him get some plays in that package. Von Bell is pretty good, so we're not just going to, get rid of him. But I think with the signing of Coleman and this guy, depending on what he does, we could see a reduced role from Von Bell. Could possibly see that. So that's the limb, man. He's a perfect player for a 3 safety package, in my opinion, to cover somebody out of the slot, to also blitz the quarterback. He was pretty fast, pretty strong, so I imagine he would be able to get around some of those offensive tackles, and especially if you got to set up in time right, So that's the limb. I like this pick. It improves the special team, improves our cornerback safety depth as well. So we ain't got to worry about probably signing another safety.
Right, I do like the pick too. It does. And another thing, like I said, it's a major depth. It adds major depth to the secondary. He is a guy with good size, speed. Add special team to that, and you can wherever you need to plug him at, whether it's a corner or safety. I mean, he just provides that tremendous depth and competition. So it's just exciting to see that we've added that speed and that versatility to the Saints secondary.
The days of Devontae Harris are over, y'all.
Well, let's move to another cornerback, Cameron Moore from Boston College. Cameron Moore was picked up in the 6th round by the Saints. The Saints went DB crazy for a second, back-to-back picks, defensive backs. They get Mr. Cameron Moore from the University of what is this guy? Boston College. Okay, he's from Boston College. There we go. 5'10", 200 pounds for Mr. Moore, and with the scouting report on him is the stocky, determined cornerback who lacks man-to-man cover skills and ball production. We'll be looking for a draftable cornerback. However, Moore's toughness as a tackler and experience on special teams may get him a look from zone-heavy teams looking to add competition at the nickel spot. He's a 3-year starter, tenacious worker in the press, does everything in his power to disrupt receivers' release, very, very determined, uses active hands to punch and push opponents away, maintains field-free vertical routes along sideline, feisty at the catch point, looks to drive through the pass catcher and dislodge the ball, shows no hesitation to step downhill and run support, works off a block, springs into tackles, good finisher in space, and has experience as a gunner and jammer on special teams. Very key there, versatility. A lot to say about Cameron Moore, DC. Thoughts on Mr. Moore?
Well, I want to apologize to Mr. Moore based on the last show. So when I first initially saw him, I was going off of a few things that I read. I didn't do an in-depth analysis on this brother. And after coming away looking at him, I am very impressed. I compared him to Ken Crawley, but when you pay attention, if you pay attention to pinch.
He had 50 tackles on the season, DC. No sacks, no interceptions.
Okay. If you pay attention to this guy, you'll see that he's way better than Ken Crawley coming in from day one. So it's a lot to be able to work with, the shape and mold. This guy is very versatile. He can do everything. The only thing he can't do, which I was a little down about because I like my cornerbacks to be able to get interceptions, because I know Davenport and the rest of this defensive line is going to get some sacks.
Yeah.
So he doesn't catch the ball a lot, but he's definitely a playmaker. As in the fact that he had a lot of good special teams plays. He makes tackles in the open field. And I think the Saints are very in-depth at going to find guys that, well, okay, in the new NFL, so people going to catch passes. But after they catch the pass, you got to make sure that's it.
Make tackles in space. Very good observation there,
so
DC.
I like that, man. And I think a lot of our secondary, even though we're thoroughly improved with the addition of a guy like this, man, y'all got to be on y'all heels because this brother is coming to play. Another quiet. We got a lot of quiet, humble players. I like that. Very talented guys. He's another one. You don't hear anything about him off the field. On the field, he's very reserved. He does his thing. He just go to work, man. Come out there with his lunch pail. Let's get it in. I'm eat my sandwich and let's get it in again.
Okay, that's pretty good on Mr. Cameron Moore. And the Saints took another player in the 6th round. They had 2 6th-round picks. The other guy they took was Mr. Boston Scott, running back from Louisiana Tech. Another fantastic player the Saints brung in to perhaps fit the role of, we've heard Darren Sproles, we've heard Pierre Thomas. Boston Scott, 5'7", 200 pounds from out of Law Tech, runs a 4.5 in the 40, had 163 attempts, rushing 937 yards, 8 touchdowns last year playing for Louisiana Tech, the Bulldogs. And you look at this young man, Boston Scott, DC. He has a lot of on footage, he's a firefly. You look at how fast he is, catching the ball out the backfield. Everything the Saints do, I've seen a little bit of it in seen him do certain segments at Louisiana Tech. Running the ball in between the tackles. Once he get in the open field, you can forget about it. You won't catch him. His little legs be moving. He also has power too, as well. So I don't know what this analysis came from. Some of these scouters hating on him, talking about he don't have no power. I've seen power in the footage that I've seen with with Scott. What is your perception on Scott?
This guy, I ain't eating none of the words I said about him. I went back and dug a little more. I found his high school highlights. Man, they talking about he ain't got power. I seen him play. He returned a bunch of kicks and punts, touchdowns. Right. I seen him play. Well, he busted for 50 yards, and everybody on the team got to touch him. He was a teenager then. He bench presses 625, 615. Squats, not bench press. That would be crazy. But he squats 625, 615. So your legs are your biggest muscles, and I don't think he lacking nowhere right there. So I've seen him run through people. He is 5'6", so it's not like he gonna hit stick trucker guy. But he will run through you while you're trying to bend down to tackle him. And I think a lot of people underestimate saying he don't have no power because he's so small. But when you got guys that are normally, the NFL is all about size. 6'3", 6'4", 250 and all this. But you got a guy who 5'6". They have to bend all the way down to try to catch this little jitterbug. And I think you're going to see that. A lot of people looking foolish, and he's running through them as opposed to running over them and putting his foot on their cleats. He's just going to run right through them. Very impressive prospect. I think Sean Payton definitely is going to have some plays for him. And he has what's the word he always uses that he told AP? Maybe it was a lie. But he told AP he had a role for him. I think they have a role for this guy in the offense to get a few plays, hit, throw defense off, get great change of pace back. He's balanced, can do everything, and you're gonna see him in the return game. I promise.
A 7th round pick in the final of the draft picks. The Saints were able to draft in the 7th round. Pick number 245, Will Clapp, offensive lineman out of LSU, 6'4", 315 pounds, Mr. Versatility in every true sense of the word. He played every spot on the offensive line you want him. Center, guard, and tackle. Very excellent player. Has good overall size, experience, ability to handle reps, use consistent footwork, adequate ability to pin down blocks, have tough strength, latch on along. I mean, the guy does it all. He had a few injuries that might have contributed to him dropping this far. The Saints might have got a jewel in the rough. DC, thoughts on Will Clapp, Mr. Everything?
Mr. Saints himself, Mr. LSU. Dad played for LSU. Very good offensive lineman. So is he. So his father was his pops. Hometown kid. Big things from him in the future. When Max Unger hangs him up. Or he possibly could have a Seco Calimente role for all bench line. Does not show up and show out. Will Clapp dominated in the SEC. So that's not a lot.
There it is. Will Clapp in the building along with the rest of the Saints draft picks. We like to say welcome all the 2018 draft picks to the New Orleans Saints. Big ups. And coming to our next segment, we're going to go into the college free agents and talk about who the Saints bringing aboard to as far as the undrafted guys go. We'll give you a full in-depth breakdown on that. Also, we'll cover other topics on the side of the break. You're listening to the Sports Coma. Hang with us.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.